day to day. So whatever you've got to do.
Cars built with safety in mind, even for those guys. The Volkswagen Atlas with standard front assist.
Because it does look very nice.
Screaming at both of them.
What Lori and Tylee described at the time is that they both left the room, went into the car, started taking JJ to school.
And so my mom said to go with JJ, and so I ran out the door, and then I kind of just stood there.
Whatever happened between Charles and Alex, they claim there was no witness at the time.
It's just you and him.
Yes.
And he basically comes at you with a bat.
Yeah.
You tell him to put it down.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And then he just came at you.
Yeah.
And you shot him.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're thinking a couple times?
Oh, it was more than one shot.
Hey, team, we got one subject down, apparent gunshot wounds to the chest.
During their investigation, they find that Charles was shot twice, once in the stomach and once in the chest.
Copy, several gunshot wounds.
When they moved his body, they found a bullet in the floorboard, meaning that he was already shot when he was laying on the ground, which really makes anybody question if it was ever self-defense.
There's a couple of shell casings behind it.
Another part that really stood out to me was Lori said that she heard the gunshot.
We were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot.
She was in the kitchen when the gun went off, but instead of going over to see what happened to her husband, because they're still not officially divorced at this point, she leaves with the kids.
I had gone around to the kitchen to get away from him. I didn't see the shot, I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground. I was just freaking out, and it just went into mama. I'm like, I've got to go to get JJ to school, I've got to get to the kids.
Lori said she went and took her son JJ to school, but in that time she also stopped at Burger King.
There's surveillance camera footage of her at Burger King around 7:50 a.m. Alex says, oh, I called 911 right away. Well, it turns out he didn't call 911 until 8:30. So there's about a 42-minute delay from when Alex fired the gun and from when he called 911.
I just worked a 12-hour shift, got off, ate, took a shower and all that stuff, and I was kicked back eating some ice cream actually, and the phone rang, and it was Kay.
When he died,
Kay Woodcock is Charles and Gerry Vallow's sister and biological grandmother to young JJ.
She told us that Charles had been shot and killed by Alex in some kind of domestic dispute. I wanted to go over there and visit him with a little baseball bat and seek some vengeance.
Alex was never charged.
There was a new chapter in the tangled story of Lori Vallow, but the deaths wouldn't stop there.
It didn't make a lot of sense. And then they were like, well, when's her funeral?
It's a lovely day today. So whatever you've got to do.
Cars built with safety in mind, even for those guys. The Volkswagen Atlas with standard front assist.
I was able to take 20 weeks off, fully paid.
There's some companies that only give you a few days or a few weeks. Mothers should have more time off to bond with their kid and heal.
Thanks to Realtor.com's home alerts, we were able to see the newest homes on the market super fast.
So we could finally buy our first big boy house.
Big boy house.
Big boy kitchen.
Big boy waterfall shower.
Y'all got big boy vaulted ceilings.
Big Boy Crawl Space.
Big Boy School District.
Big Boy Hidden Closet.
Big Boy DIY. You missed a spot.
What's this? Eucalyptus.
Big Boy Soul Sign. Big Boy Logo.
Realtor.com to each their home.
My dad told me he's back into old hobbies, but it looks like he's picked up new habits for his type 2 diabetes too.
Once weekly Trulicity is proven to help lower A1C, and it can help you lose up to 10 pounds. Trulicity is for type 2 diabetes. It isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. It's not approved for use in children. Don't take Trulicity if you're allergic to it. You or your family have medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop Trulicity and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, changes in vision, or diabetic retinopathy. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Taking Trulicity with sulfonylurea or insulin raises low blood sugar risk. Side effects include nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, which can lead to dehydration and may worsen kidney problems. Ask your doctor about once weekly Trulicity.
One-of-a-kind pieces made by hand. Live in original. Etsy. One-of-a-kind pieces made by hand. Live in original. Etsy.
Small business owners know they've got to be prepared for anything.
You gotta be prepared!
And when you use Constant Contact, prepare accordingly. Let's send this. Let's sell this. Let's win this. With email marketing and more to drive your business forward. Try it free at ConstantContact.com.
Don't let psoriatic arthritis get in the way. Taltz reduces joint pain and stiffness. And for those with moderate to severe psoriasis, Taltz is proven to give you a chance at 100% clear skin. Don't use if you're allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infection symptoms or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
Your record label is taking off, but so is your sound engineer. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Indeed Instant Match instantly delivers quality candidates matching your job description.
I married a time traveler. It's complicated.
The world as we know it is coming undone. You have to trust me.
It's my life on the line, and I want to tell my story.
In the summer of 2019, Lori Vallow was a widow. Her husband, Charles, had uncovered her affair with religious author Chad Daybell and had been shot to death by Lori's brother, Alex, who claimed it was self-defense.
I said, I want you to put that bat down. He wouldn't do it. I shot him to stop him.
After Charles was killed, Chad and Lori's relationship went another step.
He and Lori were living roughly 900 miles away from each other when Charles was killed. Chad Daybell lived in a small town in Idaho near Rexburg. He was living there with his wife.
Even though Tammy was still in the picture then, Chad was still writing Lori these romantic novels. It was about a 10-page novel. It was essentially the story of how they met and their passion for each other.
Chad Daybell began texting Lori the first couple chapters of this book.
Driving south on the freeway, a voice said, "You will meet an extraordinary woman today who will change your life forever."
Chad referred to himself as James and Lori as Elena.
MG introduced James to her friend Elena. When their hands touched, he felt a shock pass through him, and his heart started beating fast. Elena was gorgeous and vivacious.
He said that the two had met in a previous life, that they were coming back together to complete this mission to gather the chosen people before the second coming of Jesus Christ. He ultimately convinces Lori to come be a lot closer and move to Rexburg, Idaho, which Lori does, and brings along her two kids and her brother Alex Cox to be closer to this man, Chad Daybell. This is where Lori first got her apartment in August of 2019.
JJ's enrolled in a local elementary school. Lori says that Tylee was attending BYU, Idaho.
A few months later, on October 19th, 2019, Chad Daybell calls 911 and says that he found his wife, Tammy Daybell, dead.
We only knew that she passed away in her sleep. We were told that she was in shape. She was a healthy woman.
It didn't make a lot of sense. And then they were like, well, when's her funeral?
Tammy was buried almost immediately. Her family declined having an autopsy. They felt that it must have been natural causes, and they bury her in her hometown in Utah.
The million-dollar question that we're still waiting for the answer to since 2019 is, how did Tammy Daybell die?
We have Lori, whose husband dies, and then all of a sudden Chad's wife dies. So automatically it's pretty suspicious once you put those two things together.
2 weeks later, I get a notification. They were like, well, Chad Daybell just got married. Like 2 weeks after his wife died.
2 weeks? 2 weeks?
For about 2 weeks, there's no Tylee. Nobody knows that she's missing. Then JJ vanishes.
It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do.
Cars built with safety in mind, even for those guys. The Volkswagen Atlas with standard front assist.
At Amazon, hourly employees earn benefits that support themselves and their families. Employees earn healthcare on day one.
7, 8.
And up to 20 weeks of fully paid leave for new parents. But these benefits are just the start.
Amazon was definitely a step up. I went from $10.10 to $17.75.
We'll keep making improvements to support our employees and their families.
If you have psoriasis, it's time to see the possibilities with Taltz. Up to 90% of those with moderate to severe psoriasis saw a significant improvement. Some even saw 100% clear skin. Don't use if you're allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infections, symptoms, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
Living with metastatic breast cancer means being relentless because every day matters. And having more of them is possible with Verzenio, the only one of its kind proven to help you live significantly longer when taken with fulvestrant, regardless of menopause status.
Verzenio plus fulvestrant is for HR-positive, HER2-negative metastatic breast cancer that has progressed after hormone therapy.
Diarrhea is common, may be severe, or cause dehydration or infection. At the first sign, call your doctor, start an anti-diarrheal, and drink fluids. Before taking Verzenio, tell your doctor about any fever, chills, or other signs of infection. Verzenio may cause low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infection that can lead to death. Life-threatening lung inflammation can occur. Tell your doctor about any new or worsening trouble breathing, cough, or chest pain. Serious liver problems can happen. Symptoms include fatigue, appetite loss, stomach pain, and bleeding or bruising. Blood clots that can lead to death have occurred. Tell your doctor if you have pain or swelling in your arms or legs, shortness of breath, chest pain, and rapid breathing or heart rate, or if you are nursing, pregnant, or plan to be.
Every day matters, and I want more of them.
Ask your doctor about everyday Verzenio.
If you have psoriasis, it's time to see the possibilities with Taltz. Up to 90% of those with moderate to severe psoriasis saw a significant improvement. Some even saw 100% clear skin. Don't use if you're allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infections, symptoms, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
At Aspen Dental, we're a different kind of dentistry, where new patients get a complete exam and x-rays free without insurance. Plus, patients get 20% off their treatment plan. Aspen Dental, anything to make you smile. Book today at aspendental.com or call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
A CNN original series. At the end of the earth, people and animals, once adversaries, now allies, fight for survival. Patagonia, life on the edge of the world, coming in July on CNN.
It's a mystery that gripped the world.
Please give our little girl back.
15 years later, a major break.
Portuguese authorities have named a suspect.
CNN investigates. Missing Madeleine McCann. Friday at 10. It's nearly the final act in this real-life Hollywood saga. After explosive allegations from both parties, how will it all end? HLN special report. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. War over words. Tomorrow at 9 on HLN.
On a beach in Hawaii, with the waves crashing and the sun shining, Lori and Chad Daybell were finally united.
Just weeks after Tammy Daybell died, Chad and Lori get married on the beaches. With their spouses gone, they could do that.
While they were married on the beach, JJ and Tylee were actually missing.
It wasn't until November that they were reported missing because they were so new to Rexburg, Idaho that nobody knew them. Nobody knew to be looking for JJ and Tylee.
JJ had been unenrolled from school, and Tylee had never been at school to begin with. And two people who had been looking for them were Kay and Larry Woodcock, JJ's grandparents at home in Louisiana.
Kay and Larry Woodcock always had suspicions about what was going on with JJ and Tylee. They had met Lori, they had witnessed weird behavior.
There was always some sort of excuse that JJ couldn't come to the phone for his grandparents. He was at school, he's busy, he's not in a good mood right now.
People would ask, hey, can I talk to Tylee? And Lori would say she's busy with college life.
Lori says that Tylee was attending BYU Idaho, which eventually turned out to not be true. In November, JJ's grandparents say, where is he? They hire a private investigator, and the private investigator shows up in Idaho.
The Woodcocks said, have you seen Tylee and JJ? We can't seem to get a hold of them. Have you seen the kids? And we had not.
Investigators in Rexburg decide to go do a welfare check where they talk to Lori and Chad and realize JJ is not there.
They This is where a lot of the lies really start. She starts telling the police, oh, he's with a friend in Arizona.
That friend was Melanie Gibb, the same woman who had connected Lori and Chad in the beginning.
Chad and Lori call her and say, hey, lie to police. JJ's with you. At first, she doesn't pick up the phone when police call. And Lori is saying, oh, I think they're at a movie. She says, Tylee's at BYU, Idaho. They call BYU, Idaho, say, we don't have a student by that name here. Police are really starting to say, wait, didn't Chad's wife Tammy just die? Now Charles is dead. And where are these two kids?
The next day, investigators come back to that house and discover that Chad and Lori were gone. They boarded a flight and flew to Kauai, Hawaii. There is still no sign of the kids. The investigation moves to Hawaii. There was nothing to show that JJ and Tylee made that trip to Hawaii.
Eventually, Melanie says, something's not right. She calls them. She records the phone conversation with Chad and Lori.
Hello, sweet Melanie. Hi, Chad. Hey, Lori. Well, I was wondering why you told the police why he was with me. I just needed to have somebody so I wouldn't have to tell them where he really was. Is JJ safe? He is safe and happy. I'm just worried for you guys because he's missing. I know exactly where he is. He's perfectly fine and safe.
In December of 2019, in the span of 36 hours, two events added even more intrigue to the Lori Vallow story.
Lori's brother, Alex, collapsed at his home in Gilbert, Arizona.
They ultimately determined that Alex died of a blood clot and ruled his death of natural causes.
This was all happening the day after Tammy's body is exhumed.
No autopsy had been performed, but with all of these circumstances, they kind of wanted to see what happened. Did Tammy really just die in her sleep, or was there something more to this?
At the end of that month, Rexburg police put out a flyer saying missing, endangered children, 17-year-old Tylee, 7-year-old JJ.
There's a photo of JJ, Tylee, and Alex Cox at Yellowstone. The first photos we had ever seen of the three of them together.
Those photos were released on December 20th, 2019, and had been taken on September 8th.
That's the last day that Tylee was ever seen. September 23rd was the last time he was ever seen.
One weekend, the friend that introduced Lori and Chad happened to come up there, and that friend recalls Alex carry JJ, thought that he was sleeping, and put him to bed.
There are multiple police officers here. It looks like there is an area of focus in the backyard.
I was able to take 20 weeks off, fully paid. Amazon has a fantastic parental leave.
There's some companies that only give you a few days or a few weeks. Mothers should have more time off to bond with their kid and heal.
Spending that extra time with them just meant so much to me. He's only going to be really little once.
Amazon proudly offers up to 20 weeks of fully paid leave for hourly employees.
Features available on GMC.
Don't let psoriatic arthritis get in the way. Taltz reduces joint pain and stiffness. And for those with moderate to severe psoriasis, Taltz is proven to give you a chance at 100% clear skin. Don't use if you're allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infection symptoms or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
Small business owners know they've got to be prepared for anything.
You gotta be prepared!
And when you use Constant Contact, prepare accordingly. Let's send this. Let's sell this. Let's win this. With email marketing and more to drive your business forward. Try it free at ConstantContact.com.
One-of-a-kind pieces made by hand. Live in Original. Etsy. One-of-a-kind pieces made by hand. Live in Original. Etsy.
Lori and Chad marry on a beach in Kauai. They were just living in wedded bliss.
For nearly 2 months, no one has seen Lori's children, Tylee and JJ. And while authorities and relatives are desperately searching, Chad and Lori are living in Princeville, an affluent community on Kauai's north side, minutes from celebrities who have called Kauai their home.
Police had arrived there in Hawaii to serve a search warrant on Chad and Lori.
Don't let them use any communication.
Chad and Lori hopped in a car and started traveling in the direction of the local airport. They ended up pulling over Chad and Lori into a parking lot of a local resort.
Guys, can I get the vehicle, please? Step up. We have a search warrant for you guys. Card, belongings.
Investigators gave Lori a court order that says, hey, you have so many days to bring your kids in front of the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare or this judge to show them that they are okay.
Lori had 5 days to produce the children by January 30th, 2020.
She did not show that day.
They can't find the kids. Lori is arrested in February. The big charge that they have her on is for desertion of a child, 2 counts of that.
Where's the kids, Chad?
And Chad would return to Idaho without his bride.
Where's the kids, bro?
Investigators extradited Lori from Hawaii back to Idaho.
Welcome back, Lori. Where are your kids? Just tell us where your kids are. Where are your kids? Anything you want to say, Lori? Anything you want to say?
Investigators in the early morning knock on Chad's house with a search warrant. Says, hey, we're going to start looking in your backyard.
I didn't know if that was going to be the day, but it ended up being the day that we all remember of this case. Detectives found JJ and Tylee's bodies buried in Chad Daybell's backyard.
The house is here, and then back a little bit, there's the pet cemetery where there's a fire pit where they found Tylee.
Her body was burned, it was charred.
Back in further by that tree over there is where JJ was found wrapped in the plastic and duct tape.
As all this is happening, Chad is in his front yard and he gets a call from Lori, who's in jail.
No. Are you okay? Are they seizing stuff again? They're searching. There's searching.
All of a sudden, he takes off. He drives away in his car. Police don't let him get very far. That's where he gets arrested.
He is charged with the destruction and concealment of evidence. GPS coordinates from Lori's brother, Alex Cox, showed 2 areas in that backyard.
Those cell phone records were from September 9th, the day after the Yellowstone trip and the last known sighting of Tylee.
Somehow he ends up in Chad's backyard digging a grave. They find that Alex was in the backyard for, I believe it was 2 hours. It could ping his phone within a couple of yards or feet from where Alex was standing in the backyard.
And Chad also had phone records that put him in that backyard on September 9th, when he was still married to his first wife, Tammy.
Chad then texts Tammy that morning saying, "Hey, I just shot a large raccoon and I buried it in the pet cemetery." It was around 11 a.m. Detectives were like, well, raccoons are nocturnal, so that's already a red flag. So he must have known that Alex was in his backyard.
Lori and Chad Daybell were indicted on 2 counts of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the deaths of Tylee Ryan and JJ VALLOW. Lori and Chad Daybell were also indicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Tylee Ryan and JJ VALLOW. Lori and Chad Daybell were also indicted on the charge of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder in the death of Tammy Daybell. Chad Daybell was also indicted on 1 count of first-degree murder in the death of Tammy Daybell.
No official autopsy has been released yet. Officials have it. It is ready, but it just has not been released to the public just yet.
The indictment seemed to answer the who, but the why and whether Lori and Chad's alleged actions were motivated by their fringe religious beliefs remains unclear.
I don't know how someone can actually believe that bull.
Amazon has a fantastic parental leave. 20 weeks off, fully paid. Spending that extra time with them just meant so much to me. He's only going to be really little once.
I'm a first-time home buyer, and I'm using Realtor.com.
All you got to do is go to Realtor.com or download the app.
We knew that we had to find a house to fit our growing family.
I needed a home office.
And I needed us to not have a roommate anymore.
The 3D tours are awesome.
We could see a place without actually going there.
And real-time alerts made sure I never missed out on the listing.
As soon as a house came on the market, I would say, honey, the house is up.
We could not have found this home without Realtor.com.
Go get the box, Keanu.
One-of-a-kind pieces made by hand. Live in Original. Etsy. One-of-a-kind pieces made by hand. Live an original. Etsy.
Small business owners know they've got to be prepared for anything.
You gotta be prepared!
And when you use Constant Contact, prepare accordingly. Let's send this. Let's sell this. Let's win this. With email marketing and more to drive your business forward. Try it free at ConstantContact.com.
If you have psoriasis, it's time to see the possibilities with Taltz. Up to 90% of those with moderate to severe psoriasis saw a significant improvement. Some even saw 100% clear skin. Don't use if you're allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infections, symptoms, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
Finding my way forward with node-positive breast cancer felt overwhelming at times. But I never just found my way. I made it. So when I finished active therapy, I kept moving forward and did everything I could to protect myself from recurrence.
Verzenio is the first treatment in over 15 years to reduce the risk of recurrence for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative, node-positive early breast cancer with a high chance of returning, as determined by your doctor when added to hormone therapy. Hormone therapy works outside the cell, while Verzenio works inside to help stop the growth of cancer cells. Diarrhea is common, may be severe, or cause dehydration or infection. At the first sign, call your doctor, start an antidiarrheal, and drink fluids. Before taking Verzenio, tell your doctor about any fever, chills, or other signs of infection. Verzenio may cause low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infection that can lead to death. Life-threatening lung inflammation can occur. Tell your doctor about any new or worsening trouble breathing, cough, or chest pain. Serious liver problems can happen. Symptoms include fatigue, appetite loss, stomach pain, and bleeding or bruising. Blood clots that can lead to death have occurred. Tell your doctor if you have pain or swelling in your arms or legs, shortness of breath, chest pain, and rapid breathing or heart rate, or if you are nursing, pregnant, or plan to be.
I'm making my way forward, my way, with Verzenio.
Ask your doctor about everyday Verzenio.
The trail of death that seemingly followed Lori and her new husband Chad began in July of 2019, when Charles Vallow, Lori's fourth husband, was fatally shot. And while the dates of JJ and Tylee's deaths are still unknown, they were last seen in September of 2019. The very next month, on October 19th, Tammy Daybell, Chad's first wife, died at their home. The cause is still unknown to the public. And finally, in December, Alex Cox, Lori's brother and apparent protector, died at his home in Arizona from natural causes. In the deaths of her children, JJ and Tylee, and Chad Daybell's first wife, Tammy Daybell.
Chad went from being this nice Mormon man in this small town with the perfect looking family, and Lori went from being the beautiful, perfect, cool mom in Arizona to now they're both accused killers. And they both somehow think that they have special spiritual powers.
I think she was the kingpin behind all of it. And I just think he's some idiot that was too stupid to recognize what was going on.
Did Lori rub off on Chad? Uh-huh. Did Chad rub off on Lori? Uh-huh. How much? I wish I could tell you. I wish I knew.
There are those that believe that when serial killers make their first kill, that opens the floodgates. Like an animal might or a wolf might, when it's had a taste of blood, it's going to come back for it again. And in Aileen Wuornos's case, the ease in which she had gotten away with it, I think reinforced her belief that this was an easier